Okay, so let's go ahead with the Sharepoint Online and Week 7 site contents. We talked about site settings. Okay, so I'll just quickly connect to this account, and I had opened incognito portal.office.com, and I put that password, just checking if there's no extra space here. Next, and the password, the class password. Okay. And once we go inside the admin, so guys, we need to also check that if our free subscription has ended. It's simply then I'm in the admin center here, and in the admin center you see home, users, groups, billing, setup. If I go billing, and there's licenses under the billing. So that's the subscription, and if I go under the above the licenses, there's your products here. Above the licenses, your products. Okay, so it says here Microsoft E5 trial is disabled, but Enterprise Mobility Plus Security E5 trial expires on 26th and okay, May. Now this we can so I'm just gonna go down to show all here, and obviously gonna go for SharePoint. So let's go to SharePoint, and okay, so in the SharePoint I'm expanding sites here. There's active sites, and we've created some 1 or 2 sites there and gone through everything. So now we're gonna go ahead with the policies as well. So we went there for site settings as well, and search and site contents. So here we're outside in the SharePoint admin center, and we're going down to, there's a policies written here. So if I just close this sites here, so there's policies, and in policies there's sharing and access control, then there's settings, and then content services, migration, and more features. It keeps on going, and there's OneDrive admin center. So OneDrive is considered obviously a partner of SharePoint, as when you're saving a lot of files, so in the background the OneDrive is also being used. Now I'm just going to the policies area under the sites in the SharePoint admin center, and there is sharing written there. So I'm going to click the sharing, and it's pretty it just right away shows SharePoint and OneDrive collaboration here. So use these settings to control sharing at the organization level in SharePoint and OneDrive. So it is just showing that SharePoint most permissive, and it's selected there, and then there is least permissive. So it's like so most permissive would be anyone users can share files and folders using like links that don't require sign-in. So suppose you create a URL for sharing a document in SharePoint. Normally when you share, the email goes there, and in the email there's a URL there. So if anyone who receives the URL for your document to go and check that document, so that person should be able to sign in. That would be more secure, but here it says that don't require sign in, or this is the default permission on the SharePoint, and that's most permissive would be obviously a security threat for your company. So when you are made responsible for a lot of resources in your company, and that includes Office 365, Microsoft 365, which includes Office 365, and also Azure, Microsoft Azure. So in that case, you're supposed to come to these configurations, which well, when we take over, suppose we are buying a subscription for 500 users or 10,000 users in our company, and we bought the Microsoft 365 subscription. So we're thinking, okay, we're secure. I mean, we just need to log in. We paid them, right? So they should be protecting us now. It's all their responsibility. So as we may have discussed that before as well, that it's always a shared responsibility. Microsoft simply does not protect you everywhere. Microsoft gives you the options and security configurations here and there. And we need to know that which security configuration is where and on what level it is configured. And so this is something that we have to know. That's why there are more requirements in the market for knowledgeable people, experienced administrators who have who know the nick and corners of the SharePoint and you know, the Azure, Exchange Online, and Teams especially, and all others enterprise grade applications. So obviously if we assume only after opening our subscription, our going through, and 10,000 users are logging in, and we didn't go through these corners there and check out, then we are just assuming, okay, our data is shared, safe, and it is most permissive by default. So this is not good, and it should not be that when anyone shares an internal document to an outsider, and the outsider can simply click it and open the document, and the document opens. There's no sign-in required. For suppose you send a document to a Gmail guy, and in the Gmail they open it, and they can just open it and see the contents. So that's not good. So we know that it's not the perfect security configurations that by default are there, and we have to do something ourselves as well, and we have to be knowledgeable about these areas. So most permissive is this, and you can see that if I go just put down OneDrive icon here, so it goes down to the second level, but SharePoint circle doesn't move, right? So if I just go up again here and then move the SharePoint, so now you can see that where I put SharePoint, the OneDrive also moves down. So with SharePoint, OneDrive settings also move down, but not move up. It's just down. So then you have to manually move. So when you're really putting restrictions on SharePoint, it also those restrictions are implemented on the OneDrive as well. So that would make sense that when you're sharing a document from OneDrive, suppose that document actually is in SharePoint, and so OneDrive is really allowing you to put the document, and SharePoint is not allowing you. So that really confuses the whole infrastructure. And so that's how it works, that with SharePoint it does go down and it becomes very restrictive, but if you just want to say that no, SharePoint is okay, I mean SharePoint I want to not put so much restrictions, but then OneDrive restrictions are still there as they were with the SharePoint, unless you manually just put up yes, I want to actually also change the SharePoint restrictions, OneDrive restrictions as well now, so you can do it manually. So you can just see that behavior, and if I just put that SharePoint on this level, new and existing guests, right? So it goes to new and existing guests on OneDrive as well. And if I just try to just put it up there, no, I want to have better permission, least permission, restrictive, or most permissive on OneDrive. So I can't do that. If the SharePoint level is this, so OneDrive level cannot be offering more ease of use or more permissive, right? So if the SharePoint level is there, and still you can just get the point now. So OneDrive permissions are directly related to SharePoint permissions. Let me just close the excuse me. So this behavior, yeah, we just need to understand that when you're putting, so now first we saw that there's anyone, users can share files to others without requiring to sign in. When we go down from SharePoint, OneDrive permissions also go down, and that is a bit more restrictive than the above one. New and existing guests must sign in or provide a verification code. Then they can just the file can be shared to them. So one time code, ODP, one time actually it's not P, it's ODC. Okay, one time code can be sent, and then they can see the document, right? And if we go further down here with SharePoint, OneDrive also goes down. Existing guests, only guests already in your organizations can see the shared folders, whatever is shared with them. New and existing guest was above one, and then existing guest, and then finally the most restrictive or least permissive is only people in your organization. And this is the this should be the default one, that only you can share within your organization, unless it's a company with a lot of contractors there. Some companies are like they are just internal employees, that's it. So from time to time contractors do come, but it's not like a lot. And you do create guest accounts, and that would really resolve the issue. But outsiders, majority of the companies, then they don't share with outsiders like Gmail or personal email accounts. So this is one thing that we needed to understand, and what we can do is we can just put it on whichever level our company compliance policy dictates us. And the best would be obviously within the organization, but normally you would see that if there are more contractors, it's then, and you have those contractors have their own mailboxes, and you don't intend to create their mailboxes, and the company's nature of work is that the contractors keep coming for different projects and different other companies going on. So you would go on this level at the max, just to keep the security in the view as well, while you can put it there. So we can just leave it at this, and this would be our first screenshot here. That so SharePoint external sharing, screenshot number 1, SharePoint external sharing. And oh, yeah, your name should be showing on the top here. So SharePoint external sharing, screenshot 1. I'll just take a sample screenshot quick. I'll just take that key. SharePoint external sharing. Screenshot 1, SharePoint external sharing. COMP3121, screenshot 1, SharePoint external So we go ahead also. I'll go for SharePoint Online external sharing. External sharing overview in Microsoft 365. The external sharing features of Microsoft SharePoint let users in your organization share content with people outside the organization, such as partners, vendors, clients, or customers, right? So you can also use external sharing to share between licensed users on multiple Microsoft 365. So suppose you have another subscription. This is one subscription inside which I am sharing, but it can be with another subscription of Microsoft 365 for a partner company, or your company just have two departments and they have their own subscription, so that's also good. But normally you have one domain, so better to stick with one subscription. More than one, if your company has more than one subscription. Planning for external sharing should be included as part of your overall permissions planning for SharePoint in Microsoft 365. So when you're really planning for overall permissions, then you can go for this external sharing as well, and collaborate with. So it's just talking about collaborate with guests on a document, collaborate with guests in a site, collaborate with guests in a team. So overall, they say that when you're talking about external sharing, so it's better to make a strategy for just not the external sharing, but the whole permissions structure, right? So I'll just put that first. Oh man, what's wrong with the font here? And external sharing. And it used to actually put the URL there as well, but it didn't. OneNote. Okay, so that's one thing, and I'm gonna go back or tab back to this. So this excuse me. Now it says here up there as well, use these settings to control sharing at the organization level. So first of all, it's organization level. Second thing is SharePoint and OneDrive. And you can see that OneDrive link is even given there as well. So you can further restrict sharing for each individual site and OneDrive as well. Now we talked about that before as well. If I go back to the sites here and active sites and go to any one site, so there were policies and permissions we talked about, and this is external sharing for just a site here, right? So we have already gone through that before, so I'm going to go back here. But yes, even on the site level we can do that. As soon as I changed the page here and came back, so the permissions are again back to most permissive. If I put it down, because there at the end there's a save button here as well that we didn't do. So if you still have this setting here, so we can go down here and click save. So if we had to go somewhere else and come back, so it would not just be back. But yes, there is a save button here at the bottom, and I saved it. So if we go further next here, so more external sharing settings, and there is a down arrow showing here as well. If you go there, so limit external sharing by domain. So this is you've seen that, you may have seen that in Exchange Online, that you want to block some domain. You don't want to share with that particular domain, so you can do that too. So limit external sharing by domain. So if I select that option, so there's a add domains here. So let's go ahead and click this add domains, and when you click the add domains here, after clicking limit external sharing by domain, and there's allow only specific domains or expand panel to show video. Oh wow, really? Oh, what video? Okay, anyway, allow only specific domains is written there. If I click that, well, it means whatever domain you add there, that will only be the domain with which you're sharing, and the rest of the whole internet will be blocked. Allow only specific domains. So yeah, this is not what we want here, but yes, if any company wants to do that, okay, I'm just sharing with that one other company or these other 5 or 6 companies, I don't want to share my document with anyone else over the internet. Well, that is actually a good security, but if that other scenario where your company's nature of work is that the contractors are coming to your company a lot, and they all belong to different companies, right? So you keep on adding those different companies here. Maybe it's a military contractor. Yes, you would go for all kind of possible security precautions there and configurations. Otherwise, going like this would not be a very good idea, to just block the whole internet or keep adding the sites whenever anyone wants to share any document with any other company or any other domain. So I'm going to cancel out from here, but we understand that whatever we add here, then those are the only domain that would be allowed and no one else. So we don't want to do that, but we understand the purpose of that. So I'm going to click cancel here. So that's limit external sharing by domain. Then there is allow only users in specific security groups to share externally. So if you click that, yeah, if you have any security groups, suppose the marketing guys and sales guys have their security group, and only they should be allowed according to the company compliance policy. They are allowed to share outside and no one else. So yeah, if you enable that, and whichever groups you add, other than that, those groups, no one else will be able to share. So if I click that manage security group, so obviously it's just going to then ask which security group you want to allow to share outside. So I'm going to cancel out from here and uncheck this option. And then there is guests must sign in using the same account to which sharing invitations are sent. So we may have seen those type of configurations in Exchange Online as well. So a guest must sign in with the same account to which sharing invitations are sent. So if you have sent invitation to a guest whose email is like John Doe at gmail.com, so the invitation was sent to that particular person. So if that person logs in from that Gmail, then only that person can open that invitation or accept it. Suppose that person actually forwarded it to another employee of his. So in that case, that employee will not be able to accept the invitation. So well, this is restricted to whoever we send the invitation should be able to accept it. If you want to put that kind of restriction, you can put that too. Allow guests to share items they don't own, and they don't own the items, but they can share. So this is by default enabled, but it's up to you. You want to enable it or not. That they should be able to share those items. Suppose somebody shared a file with you. You don't own that file, right? But are you allowed to share it with someone else? So it's up to you how restrictive you want to be or how permissive you want to be. So people who use a verification code must re-authenticate after this many days. So re-authenticate just means that if verification code was once sent, and then further documents were shared with the people, so after 30 days a new verification code should be sent as well. Then, hey, are you still the same person that I'm sharing these files with? So these are the settings that we should go to one by one. And there is file and folder links. So choose the type of link that's selected by default when users share files and folders in SharePoint and OneDrive, right? Choose the type of link that's that's selected by default. So specific people, only the people the user specifies, or only people in your organization. Well, by default it's okay. And so the thing is that you should just be letting anyone who's in your organization to be able to share the link, unless again the nature of work is that too many outsiders are supposed to be collaborating with you as well. And if you go further down here, so choose the permission that's selected by default for sharing links. So this is always not very good, that by default when you're about to share, it's always on edit, so it should be on view. Well, I think it should be, unless you want to edit. Some people say no, it should be edit unless you want it to be view. So most restrictive against least restrictive. So that's your choice. This is on the organization level, so everyone gets affected with this. So I change it to view. So by default it should be read only unless you want it to be read and write document. Permissions for others. So this is changed, and then there is other settings. Show owners the names of people who viewed their files in OneDrive. Show owners the names of it. So suppose you have shared some file and somebody viewed it, so you should get that information. So it's already selected here that you will be able to see who viewed your files. And somebody said, yeah, I viewed your file, it was good, while the information was never there. So you would know. Let site owners choose to display the names of people who viewed files or pages in SharePoint. So choose site owners, choose to display name. So they want to know the name of who viewed, or they don't want to know, it's up to you. Use short links for sharing files and folders. This is very useful, obviously, when you're sharing. It's a very long link, and this feature should be always obviously turned on. So the only other change we did on this page is this, that we went for view as the default choice when you're sharing the document instead of edit. So I'm going to click save here again because we made that change. Okay, so this is just the sharing part of it, and then we go down to settings here, and in the settings there's default admin center, open the new or classic admin center by default. Now these are can't find settings you're looking for, go to classic settings page, so that's the older way to see it. But these are the settings which, if I click that default admin center here, and it shows, then in the new SharePoint admin center you can manage both modern and classic sites. Well, classic, yeah, we can. You can also manage the latest features and access all the classic features. Select the admin center you want. Well, that's just the choice of, you want to see the old admin center or the new one, right? Old one, many of the features are being deprecated or removed from there slowly, and some administrators are just so used to working in the old one that they don't want to go ahead and until Microsoft pushes them towards this. So that's why this option is there. We started with the new admin center, so we can just stick to it. And old admin center was quite well. There would be a glimpse here as well in more features, that there was such a long list of options after options after options, just like you saw there in the site settings, and there was a long list of options there. So they made it a little more categorized here, that, and then those same options are a bit hidden now. Okay, anyway, we don't want to switch to classic administrator, so I'm just going to cancel out from here. And then there are pages, and allow users to create and comment on modern pages. So if I click that pages here, you want them to comment, you don't want them to comment, it's up to you. So in some organizations comments are disabled by default for pages, and in others they are allowed. So change the organization level settings for creating and commenting on modern pages. Now modern pages, we understand what is a page, we can create that page there. Use modern pages in Microsoft SharePoint. Using this is a great way to share ideas using images, Office files, video, and more. Users can add a page to a site. We did that, and we add a web part to that, which is I was calling it widgets, or very small utilities that you can add on the page. So quickly and easily and modern pages look great on any device. So why they're saying modern? Because of many new features, plus they can work on any device, tablets, cell phones, and I don't know about the smartwatch, but that's very small screen, so it doesn't make sense to have SharePoint there. Okay, if you're a global SharePoint admin in Microsoft 365, you can allow or prevent users from creating modern pages. You can do this at the organization level by changing settings in the SharePoint. So if I go just quickly down here, so yes, this is a setting we're on, and they're just saying that you want to keep the previous older settings there, or you want to give the users the newer look and the newer features there. So those who are really used to older features, I can actually uncheck those options. We do not have to do that. So, well, these options should be staying there. So no changes on this page, and I'm going to click cancel. Then comes the SharePoint notifications, and well, these are organization-wide simple settings, and no big deal here. Obviously we want to have notifications. Suppose somebody deleted a file, suppose somebody uploaded a file, so all these things that you're that are happening, you need to be notified of those. So that's why obviously nobody would turn off this notification unless there's there are holidays or there's some reno going on and no work going on, so no notification please. So otherwise, or just in special cases. So I'm going to cancel out from there as well and go down to site creation and select settings for new sites. So let users create sites from the SharePoint start page. Yeah, so we were able to do that from here, and OneDrive as well. So you can actually create a site from OneDrive. So we're going to be visiting OneDrive as well, and then we're going to check it out. But you remember that there was that sites option and teams option there. So yes, you want to offer these kind of settings, and the default time zone was Pacific time zone, which we were changing when we were creating our site. So we can just, on the organization level, if your company is not distributed across different countries and regions, so you can just go and fix this at Eastern time, US and Canada here. So these are the site creation organization-wide settings. Very basic or straightforward, but so do you want the communication site to be created or team site to be created first? Suppose I go for team, so it's always going to be team site first created, but we can just go back to the defaults here, and we fixed our time zone as well. So that would be our second screenshot here that I clicked on. I'm here on sharing, and then access control, and then here site creation. So this is just SharePoint site creation. The screenshot name is SharePoint site creation with that URL showing your name. So screenshot number 2, SharePoint site creation. Actually, it should be SharePoint site creation settings, but if you're already done with site creation, that's also okay. SharePoint site creation settings. I'll take that screenshot now and put it to okay. Oh, so screenshot to SharePoint site creation settings. If you didn't put settings, it's okay. And okay. To SharePoint site creation settings. Okay, so if we go back here, I'll click the save button here for this SharePoint site creation settings. And then the next option is the site storage limits. And let's click that site storage limits, and it simply says share storage among all sites or control storage limits by site. So either you have sites that have one full shared storage of maybe 25 terabyte, or each site has 1 terabyte for this site, 2 terabyte for this site. Basically by default it is 1 terabyte per site for each site. So if I click that, learn more on the storage limits. So the amount of Microsoft SharePoint space your organization has is based on your number of licenses. See SharePoint limits. So there's a SharePoint limits document as well that would show. So limits by plan. So depends on which plan you purchased. Okay, so Microsoft 365 Business Basic, Business Standard, or Business Premium. Total storage per organization 1 terabyte plus 10 GB per license purchased. So that would be if you've purchased 5 licenses, so it's per GB, so plus 10 GB per license, so it would be just GBs increasing. If you have 50 licenses, so 50 GB increased or more. Then there is Microsoft 365 E3 or E5, Office 365 E1, E3 or E5, or SharePoint Plan 1 and 2. Now, few weeks back where I work, we were taking interviews for Office 365 and Microsoft 365, so we were asking about the licenses as well. And some candidates knew that, some had no idea, so people should be prepared. If it's a job for Azure and Office 365, they should know the licensing first. So these are all Microsoft 365 E3 or E5, Microsoft 365 E1, E3 or E5. So, but you can see that 1 terabyte plus 10 GB per license, and then there is Microsoft 365 F1 or F3 and Office 365 F3. So 1 terabyte. So you can just see that maximum storage per site is 25 terabyte for all the plans, right? And then there is a site collection per organization, so that is 2 million. And when we say 2 million, so not including the OneDrive created for each licensed user. So site collection, so sites per organization, you can create 2 million sites per organization. We created what, 3 sites, 4 sites, and that's 2 million for all the plans. Even the business basic, even that, I think it's what, $8, $9 per month. So number of users up to 300, and that's for the business basic, standard, and premium. And one up to 500,000 users can be there for E1, E3 or E5. And then there is 1 to 500,000 users. Wow. So enterprise packages are cool. But these are also for small organizations. Obviously up to 300 users is good as well. So these are SharePoint limits, and I'll just take a picture of this. And that, you don't have to do that, so I'm just putting that extra info here, and specifically this URL. Okay, so Alt tab, and yeah. So if I go back here, where we were, I'll use modern pages, yeah, done, and sites. So manage site storage, and we talked about the storage as well. But normally, you can see here that 91 MB of 1.24 terabytes. So each site is given this much, and so overall it just says that set automatic or manual site storage limits. So it goes by default. Your SharePoint storage is available in a central pool from which all sites can draw. You as a global or SharePoint admin don't need to divvy up storage space or reallocate space based on usage. That's all handled automatically. Sites use what they need when they need it. If you previously set storage limits manually and switch to using pooled storage, so this is called pooled storage, right? SharePoint resets all the limits to 25 terabyte. Note that the total storage for your organization might be less than 25 terabyte. So the main thing here is that Microsoft is just handling that, and whatever from a pool of 25 terabyte size any site needs, it's just given to that site. So some sites are increasing fast, some sites are increasing slow according to whatever the usage of the site is. So we just need to know that. Okay, Microsoft handles that increase in size. Once 25 terabyte is also reached, obviously you need to talk to the support to increase the site size or space. So let sites use as much of your organization storage as they need, that is 25 terabyte. And if I click, suppose I click manual here, so then some other controls appear that lets you handle the size manually. I'm just going to stick to automatic here, and keeping it automatic is, well, seems like a better choice. So I'm going to click cancel. So these are just some of the crucial configurations of the whole organization or the whole SharePoint wide settings. And if we go further to settings here, so we talked about policies and then sharing and access control. If we just close it, I'm just gonna collapse the sites and collapse the policies. So then we go for settings here. Oh, sorry, that was settings. Then what happened here? Oh, I missed this. Sorry. Alright guys, so yeah, we were on settings, but I did not go for access control. I missed it. So I'm going to go back to this access control. Not much here as well, just few organization-wide settings here as well. Organization-wide sharing policies we talked about, organization-wide settings we talked about, and now organization-wide access control as well. So use these settings to restrict how users are allowed to access content in SharePoint and OneDrive. So there are unmanaged devices. If I click on top of that, so it says here, the setting you select here will apply to all users in your organization. Now, this is SharePoint level settings, but they keep saying organization, right? So, and to customize conditional access policies, save your selection and go to the Azure AD admin. Now, this organization could mean, if I go back there, Microsoft 365 Admin Center, so you have security, compliance, endpoint, Azure, Active Directory, Exchange, SharePoint, Teams, and there's a all admin centers written here. If I click that all admin centers, so there's a long list of other enterprise grade applications. Dynamics 365 is used a lot in many organizations. It's a CRM or customer relations manager. SharePoint and Power Apps is used, OneDrive is used, Stream is used a lot, so Exchange is used a lot. So when we say organization, obviously it would go for, it should mean, because we're doing that within the SharePoint Online, so it should go for the organization, but SharePoint side of it, just the SharePoint Enterprise application is going to affect. So I'm going to click Learn More here at Unmanaged Devices. As a SharePoint or global admin in Microsoft 365, you can block or limit access to SharePoint and OneDrive content from unmanaged devices. So what device is an unmanaged device? Those not hybrid AD joined or compliant in Intune are called unmanaged devices. So So suppose you have your Toronto HQ here, Tor branch here on premises, and that has you know this Active Directory. So that's on premises, and then you have M365. So this is the cloud, right? Well, 105. Okay. So this is our cloud side, and that was our hybrid. Yeah, so that was our on premises. So when there's a connection, this is called hybrid connection or hybrid setup, right? So they're just saying that if your machine, your device, so now you're connecting from your cell phone or from your tablet, or you're connecting from your laptop, right? So are those devices really, or desktop, so are those devices really joined not only to your Active Directory on premises, but are they also joined to, because Microsoft 365 you have Azure AD. So when you say hybrid, so the Azure AD and the on-premises Active Directory both need to know your device, and this should be registered, or its information should be available in both the Cloud Active Directory as well as on-premises Active Directory. So that is hybrid AD joined. Now there are some companies, or most of the time it's smaller companies that smaller companies, right? So the smaller companies that are totally online, no on-premises resources available, right? So if they are totally online, this means that the devices cannot be, first of all, the hybrid option is not there because there is no on-premises, right? Second thing is, then they have to be Active Directory joined, and there is that Microsoft device management software enterprise grade application, that is, it's called Intune. And Intune does what? It it's a MDM at and also it is a MAM. So MDM is mobile device management. So all the devices, cell phone, tablets, laptops, desktops, it manages that, and it is also a MAM. So that's mobile application management. So that would be whatever application you're about to deploy. Suppose you have 10,000 users, so you want to deploy it to the cell phone, the protected app, on the tablet the protected app, and the laptop the protected app, right? So all this you need to deploy. So in that case, it would be that Intune software. So Intune's on-premises version is SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager, which also is a mobile device management big software, and this is cloud-based mobile device management. So this is also one of the very important skills, critical skills that you should have before you hit the market, and try to do some self-learning through. There are some other training sites like pluralsight.com or linuxacademy.com, cloudacademy.com. So there are those which also have those courses on Intune and other cloud courses. But the thing is that nowadays this is also because of the pandemic, and everyone's working from home. So this has become all of a sudden very, very important. Intune, how to manage your remote devices that are not even joined to the domain. How do you really manage a work group based laptop and cell phone and tablet, right? So how to configure the Intune for that. Anyway, and it does a very, very good job at that. So when we say unmanaged devices, so if Intune does not know your devices, then it is unmanaged. Obviously, it is a threat to your company. Why? You're logging in to a SharePoint site of a company having critical data of your company, and you're logging in from a tablet that is not known by Intune. What does that mean? So what if it's not known? Is that a big deal? Yes, it's a very big deal, because Intune deploys all the security software. Intune deploys all the latest updates, and there's Advanced Threat Management, ADP, that software, and there are vulnerability assessment applications that run. So it really goes for it's a very good security and just inventory management software. So if Intune doesn't know your device and you're still logging and you're allowing these users to log in from these unmanaged devices to your SharePoint site, so then we don't know that it is a virus infected, a malware infected, or the hacker is just waiting for the credentials and that's it. All the documents, sensitive documents, are downloaded already, and you're like, and we're like, all right. So, and well, that is really dangerous if you don't have Intune connected to your devices. Okay, so unmanaged devices, that's what we wanted to screen. Okay, so we were talking about this, and so if you disallow, if you do not allow the devices to connect to your SharePoint, which are unmanaged, then that would be a very good thing to do. But make sure that your Intune is properly configured and your devices are, because obviously it will be unproductive as well, because users are not now able to connect. And it's not entirely their fault, obviously, if you did not deploy Intune to their devices, right? So block access can be there as well, an option. But overall, this is the page that just simply talks about. So control access to your devices. If we go there and open a notepad, and I'll just put that stuff quickly there. And let's go ahead. Oh man, this. Okay, so if we go ahead now and allow full access from desktop apps, mobile apps, and web. Very bad idea if we are letting unmanaged devices connect. Allow limited web-only access. And then there is block access as well. Up to you how you want to do that. And sometimes organizations learn when there is a breach, and after that organizations security budgets at once boom, and they start acting. And before that, administrators would screamed at them, hey, please secure it now, give us more budget, and yeah, whatever, who cares, and until they are attacked. So obviously it's not a very good idea to let the unmanaged devices connect to your SharePoint and Exchange. I'm going to click cancel. Well, it did say cancel, so let's go back here, and screenshot 3 is SharePoint unmanaged devices setting. So screenshot number 3 is SharePoint unmanaged devices setting. Okay, there's a picture here, and
so we don't have that option.
Okay, what does it say here? Oh, okay, enterprise mobility plus security. You did not upgrade. No one has that option, or so, or some of us have it and some of us do not. Yeah, we don't have that. User also says that. Oh, that's strange. Okay, anyway, we're not going to take a screenshot of this then. I'm going to cancel out from here. Let's cancel out from here. Okay, I don't have it. So let's go ahead, guys, and here idle session sign out. So, well, if you don't have this one as well, just say there don't have, and that's it. I'm not gonna ask for a screenshot, but what it is. So idle session timeout, sign out, warn, and then sign out users on unmanaged devices after a period of. We have that one. Okay, so Eric says we have that one. So I guess everyone has that one, right? Okay, so Want and then sign out users on unmanaged devices after a period of inactivity. This setting applies when users don't select to stay signed in. So there's always a message that when you're logging in that you want to stay signed in here, and if you select that, then you will be signed in. Otherwise, you will be signed out. So sign out inactive users automatically. If I turn it on, then there's a setting here. Sign out users after 1 hour of inactivity. Give users this much notice before signing them out. So 5 minutes of notice that you're about to be kicked out here if you don't do any activity. So this is a whole setting for the SharePoint wide setting, and this we see all the time in browsers as well and online applications that we're kicked out if we don't do anything for a bit longer time. Bank sites, obviously. So we can just take a screenshot number 3 here. Idle session sign out. Screenshot number 3. Idle session. That's the name here. Idle session sign out with this setting, with this option enabled, and your name showing on this area. Idle session sign out is the name. Idle session sign out. So I'm just gonna put that screenshot and okay. So I'll just go for screenshot 3. Idle session sign out. And COMP3121 screenshot 3 idle session sign out. Okay, so we go back and so we're gonna click save here. This means that we will also be kicked out if we have no activity in 1 hour. 1 hour is like, wow, word I doing that, right? So let's click save here. And then we go for network location here. Allow access only from specific IP addresses. This is pretty common option, common security option, and critical as well, that you just allow people connecting from certain sites. So you use this setting to allow access only from IP addresses that your organization owns. And if we go for allow access only from specific IP address ranges, and yeah, we just put public the user's public IP here and save, and they can't connect anywhere else. So in some organizations, yes, this is implemented, and they know that the people are connecting from home. And yes, for some homes, their ISPs change their public IP in 3 days, for some 5 days, for some 1 month. 1 month, I don't think so, but 2 weeks, yeah, maybe. That may be too long as well. So 1 week or a few days. So administrators are just getting those tickets regularly. That okay, can you add my new IP? Oh, add my new IP. Add my new IP. So that's crazy. But for security, they are doing this, and otherwise they purchase a third-party application that just simply users can just fill out a form for the new IP, and it simply implements that automatically. So we don't have to implement that. I'm going to click cancel. It's pretty straightforward. And then there's apps that don't use modern authentication. So I'm going to click that. So some third-party apps and previous versions of Office can't enforce device-based restrictions. Use this setting to block all access from these apps. Apps that don't use modern authentication, and that is also called device-based restriction as well. So if I go for SharePoint Online and put that, so block apps with no modern authentication on Intune, new admin center, so secure SharePoint Online data. These are some of the settings there. In Intune, obviously that's a very common setting that older devices with older protocols. Suppose you have uh, HTTPS, access to your website, but older version of HTTPS is being used, or TLS, especially if you have transport layer security, TLS 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, right? So if you're using the older protocol there, so you should not be allowed to connect to the site, because that can be used by hackers to gain access to your site and credentials, especially. So that's why that's a really important setting. So block apps for SharePoint Online, if I just click that, then this is the discussion just going on in many of the areas, many of the online application security forums. So one of our company requirements is to allow external access to company data from an external location only when multi-factor authentication is enabled. Now, when we say modern authentication, obviously it should allow MFA to work as well. And some older apps in some cell phones and tablets, they don't actually support MFA, or their iOS and the OS kernel, they don't support actually MFA. So if you're using any of those older devices, yes, those devices should be blocked. To successfully use MFA, an application must support modern authentication, right? For that reason, we want to block all applications that don't support modern authentication. To block those applications to access SharePoint Online, we only need to set one setting in the SharePoint Admin Center. In the SharePoint Admin Center, navigate to Access Control. That's where we are right now, and check block under apps that don't use modern authentication, and click OK. So that does require enterprise mobility plus security license, and then you can so all the advanced and state-of-the-art features are available with obviously the most expensive license plan. And the company where I'm working, they're also it's like it's not a big company, it's a small company, but they have big budget. So they're all E5 licenses, so that's good. Otherwise, if you can't afford to have expensive licenses, then you're kind of vulnerable, because latest security features are not available. Some security features are available, obviously. You get what you pay for, right? So so this is just the setting we're talking about: allow access or block access to older devices. So that would be good idea. And obviously you either, if you block access, then the company has to purchase the latest devices and send it to, so corporate owned devices should be there. And so this way, if the company says no, that's a lot of expenses, so then you just have to allow it, right? So because they're personal devices of customers, either you tell them, hey, don't use the personal devices to connect to our SharePoint, or if they're using that too, then you have to allow it so they could work. So I'm going to cancel out from here. And this was the access control. So we went in policies and sharing, then access control, then settings. And if we go further ahead, so there's content services here. So the content services, there's a term store showing where as soon as we click the, oh, what happened? Okay, if I click again, term store. Oh, now it opens, right? So it just went back to the start page there. Okay, so what the term store is, I'll just put a definition here. So it's a SharePoint Online and then term store. Now, create and manage terms in a term set and open the term store management. So, well, what is a term store first of all, and then we go ahead. So, to create and manage term store, but term store introduction. So, metadata is information about information, right? For example, a book's title and author is metadata. So it's information about information. So information about the book. Metadata can be many kinds of information: a location, a date, or a catalog item number. When you use SharePoint products, you can manage the metadata centrally. You can organize the metadata in a way that makes sense in your business and use the metadata to make it easier to find what you want. So this article describes some important terminology of managed metadata and gives you a quick look at how you can use the tools in SharePoint. So there are some terminologies here that they use. There's taxonomy, there's folksonomy, and then there's term set, local terms, there's group, term store management. Okay, it keeps on going. Tagging, and but what it is overall, that you can come up with your own terms to define some set of documents. Suppose it's a hospital, and you want to add a column in the term store. So let me just give you an example here. So suppose I go for a site here and go to active sites, and yeah, I will have to open a site here. So my first name, company site, and I open a site here. Site opens. I go to the documents section. Oh, what did I open? Oh, that's another site. How come I change the template here? Yeah, company site and company sales site and communication site. Okay. And documents of communication site. So these are the columns here, and these columns are you could just see exactly the information about whatever document you uploaded here. So there are location. You can also know from where the document is uploaded, and any number, person, yes, no, choice, hyperlink about that document. So when you add columns here and you upload any document, so any information in the attributes of that document will fill up other columns of location or hyperlink or image. That would also. So when you add columns here, that just provides you more information about the document that you uploaded here. So it would be also adding column with your specific terms could also be considered a terminology, or it could be also considered a metadata. So modified by who? My name, right? At what date? This date. So modified by who? This document would be the metadata, or information about the data, which is the document here, right? So more columns you add here, that would be just extra information about what you uploaded here, right? So that would be called metadata about or data about data, information about information, right? So this is just an example, but if I go back here, so important terminology. Suppose it's a hospital, right? And you add a column here, medicines. Then you add another column, operations. Then you add another column, operation theaters available. So you can Now these columns like medicines or client data or patient data and doctors information, that are not available by default in SharePoint, right? So but it's, since it's a hospital, you need some columns that really define terms that can represent data according to your nature of work. So that's why terminology is a feature here that lets you, suppose it's a military institute, so you would go for that terminology. Suppose it's an educational institute, or it goes on agricultural or anything else, right? So taxonomy. A taxonomy is a formal classification system. Taxonomy groups the words, labels, and terms that describe something, and then arranges the groups into a hierarchy. People construct taxonomies for almost any kind of information, from biological systems to organizational structures. For example, biologists group living organisms into four major classifications: animal, plant, fungus, and microbe, right? Each of these major groups has many subdivisions. Together, the whole system is called taxonomy. So they came up with some kind of classification, and then they created a hierarchy out of that. So that's taxonomy. But what is folksonomy then? Folksonomy is an informal classification system. So it evolves gradually as website users collaborate on words, labels, and terms on a site. Originally, folksonomies developed from popular applications such as bookmarking. I don't know how old is this, but folksonomy developed with social media, Facebook and Reddit and all those, right? Instagram. So if you have ever seen a tag cloud on a website, then you have seen a visualization of a folksonomy. The following figure shows a tag cloud on a SharePoint site. So analysis, conferences, I like it, strategic, planning, return on investment. So these are just still professional terminologies, yeah. A folksonomy-based approach to metadata can be useful. It creates a way to share the knowledge and expertise of site users. By using a folksonomy, content classification can evolve. So you can just say that it's cool, and you actually make a column of that. It's cool. Actually, nobody would do that. But anyway, you can just put any of your user-created terminology here as well. If a user created that terminology, it's folksonomy. If the terminology was created from as evolved from the professionals and scientists, a group of people organized meetings and then came up with that, so it's taxonomy. So these are all the terminologies here, so I'm just gonna important terminology. So mainly it's taxonomy and folksonomy. So an example, then I'll try to, actually this all started from introduction to metadata. Term store is the main feature that started this discussion. That would you want to create terms of your own according to you, the nature of work of the company, and that those terms you want to add to your SharePoint as well. So for that, now if we go back here to SharePoint, and not here, here, yeah, where we were before. So I'm going to go to content services here, and there's a term store. So this term store has some taxonomy already created, and there is a system here showing before we create anything here, we should be a member of admins, add people who can create new term set groups, assign users to the group manager role, So we need to just add ourselves here. So I'm just gonna click the edit against the admins, right? So I'll click that edit. Well, we just need to add ourselves there. This one on the top right. Mine is admin at. Okay, I'll click the edit here again, which is already open. Admin. Yeah, so, well, we're just adding the root user here as the term store admin, and I'm going to click save. Okay, so first of all, you added yourself as an admin. It shows here. Second thing is, if we go on the left side here and right click on this system, oh sorry, first we left click on this system. Yeah, it doesn't show any options here. If I go to taxonomy myself and go for, oh yeah, there are 3 dots here, right? Add term group. If I go to system here as well, there is no 3 dots here. So yeah, sorry. You can go to taxonomy here, taxonomy itself. Click it. There are 3 dots here, right? So let's click the taxonomy and 3 dots. Add term group. I just clicked add term group was here as well, or you click the 3 dots and click the add term group. That's the only option there. And then what we can say is IT-terms. IT-terms. And we click it, we select it, right? So it should appear. Was there a save button that I missed, or I'll just refresh it. If it doesn't appear, then I'll have to create that again. Really? I think I have to create that again because it didn't get created. Need to enter. Enter button. Add term and IT dash. Did I say team? Right? It was team, right? Okay, ID team, and then press enter. So I'm gonna press enter now, and ID team successfully got created. ID terms, okay. I'll just rename it. Yep, that's good. Thank you. Term. Oh, it was terms. I know. If you didn't put S, it's okay. Doesn't matter. Okay, so ID terms, and when we expand that, there's nothing inside, right? So we didn't create anything, obviously. So if you go to the right side, there's ID term, add term set. You know, it in SharePoint it used to, within the browser also, we used to right click and these would come. Now I think they don't support that. That's why I kept on trying that and didn't appear. So they removed that, I guess. Or maybe I'm in incognito, that's why. So add term set, we basically just need to do this. Add term set. Let's click. Once we click the add term set, and that would be development. So suppose it's developers who are coming up with some type of wordings and terms. So I'm just going to press enter after I put development. Once we press enter, then if we go further to the right side, there is then the add term, right? So let's click add term here under the development, and then we can just go for Java updates or Java tasks, sorry, Java tasks, and press enter. And we go up to the development and again go to the same, because we need to create terms on this level, right? Not under the Java tasks. So I'm just gonna go up there to the development and go to this and click another term here. That could be well, or whatever, you know, Oracle tasks. Suppose there are developers for Oracle. Press enter, and development again on the development level, right? We select the development, we go for an add term again, and then we can go for Microsoft dash tasks and press enter to that as well. So we can just keep on creating terms. Now I was giving the example of a hospital, and we could have gone for, you know, the hospital terminologies, and then we could have gone for patients section terminology, and then doctor section terminology, or medicine terminology, and medical equipment terminology. We could have created all those as well. But once we create that, okay, now what do we do with this? Where do we use it? So once it is created, now let's go to the sites here. Oh, first of all, so how do you add the IT terms? Hey, John, come on, man. Really? Okay, welcome back. Phew. Man, pay attention, come on. So, how did I add that? So just go to taxonomy, and then add term. So just taxonomy, click on the top of that, click the three dots here, add term group. Then you need to put ID terms. Then you select that, three dots here, add term, and that is development. And then you go there and then click add. Well, add term was there anyway. So under that, we just kept on creating more. Okay, so hopefully you got it. So guys, first of all, we get the screenshot number 4, and that would be, okay, so unexpected error came here. Unexpected. So John, did you add yourself as an admin here? Did you add yourself as an admin? Go ahead and click the edit button here and add your root account as an admin here, and then come back here and click the taxonomy, then click the three dots, and well, we took some time doing this, so you should be paying attention what we're doing. Okay, well, screenshot number 4 would be, yeah, so it's 4, yeah. So term store is the name of the screenshot. Term store is the name of the screenshot where you're showing what you created there: ID terms, development, Microsoft tasks, Oracle tasks, Java tasks. Oh, and it should show the above top URL here as well. So I'll go there, screenshot 4, term store. Screenshot 4, term store. And there as well. Do one screenshot for term store, and okay, so if we go back, yeah, So these are the terminologies, where do we use it, and if they do support that till now, obviously I'm sure they do. So what we're going to do is we can go to the sites now. We can go to the sites and then go to the active sites. So first we go to the sites, then we go to the active sites, and then we go to the communication site. So I go to the active site and there's a default communication site that is available for everyone. So let's go to the communication site inside active sites after creating those the term sets. So I'm going to click that communication site here. I'm going to click that URL on the right side for the communication side. Did I say side? Oh, it's site. Now here in the documents, we're going to go for, in the communication site, we're going to go for documents. Once you go to the documents here, now that's the area where I was showing you before as well. So I'm going to click add column, right? I'm going to click add column. So once you click the add column, so there's all the columns there, but there's a more button showing here. So again, communication site, documents, and then there's a add column here, and then let's click the more button here. So this is the place where we're supposed to be. There's a page where we're supposed to be. After clicking more, after clicking the add column, and it just asks you, hey, what kind of column you want to put, but at the end of it there's a managed metadata showing here. So I'm just going to select that managed metadata. So basically we were talking about managed metadata anyway, so that's where we're going. So whatever metadata is available, we're going to try to grab that. So once you click that managed metadata here, then if we slowly go down,
Please, how did you get there, please? Okay, hold on. I'm in class now. Hold on.
Okay, see this? Okay, I'll go back one more. So Kingsley, are you on communication site and documents?
Yes, I'm there now.
Okay, then you go to add column and more. So I'm gonna click more, and then what we clicked was managed metadata. So once you click manage metadata, then you need to go further down, right? Down, until you start seeing term set settings on the left side, and you see taxonomy written here with the GUID or globally unique ID here. So term sets on the left side, and this, if you expand that taxonomy, and you see the ID terms that we created there, and the hierarchy that we created there. So under the ID terms is development, and under the development is Java tasks, Microsoft tasks, and it could have been medical hierarchy, or construction company hierarchy, or insurance company hierarchy. So you could come up with your own terms there as well. So it could have been really folksonomy as well, that you could just create a column or for that says I like it, or that's cool, and it's actually in the column. So, or approved. Well, so anyway, we can just go for, suppose this is Java tasks written here, so we can click that Java tasks. I'm going to click on top of Java tasks, right? So once we select Java task like this, we clicked on top of it, right? So if we keep it selected and go up, right? Keep it selected and go up, and we also type here Java tasks. Now up till adding a column, that's what we can do. Then you have to have some document that has an attribute that can fill some information about Java tasks. That's a separate full set of steps, but how to add a metadata as a column is just one small example. Okay, so there is another picture here. I'll show it here. Yeah, this is okay. You need to have it go down certain levels. It's a big page, right? So once you click manage metadata, then you have to keep going down until you see the term set written there. Okay. So here, yeah, so I put Java task, but I'm just gonna, I think it's gonna take it's gonna take a space. I think it will. Yeah, there are some options, date and time. There's a space here, so yeah, we can just put a space here as well, otherwise it's going to give an error. So what we selected down here is the Java tasks, and this is, in fact, we put a dash here, but up there it's going to be the name of the column now, so you don't have to really put a dash unless it stops us and make us do that. So this is just manage metadata. You pick your own term, and then for that term you create. Now this term can be attached to any document as well. This term can be attached to anywhere else as well in SharePoint to relate to this column. But this is just an example of how to create it, and this much we can go for. So I selected this and put on the top Java tasks. Now what do? Is there a save button somewhere on this page? So I'm going to go way down and check it out if there's a save button on this page. There's an OK button at the bottom of this page, right? So there's an OK button, and I'm going to press O and K. So I'm going to press OK, right? Normally I delay this if somebody comes up, oh, what happened? So that's why I just delay a little, and then if no one comes up, so this means you're all there. So I'm going to press OK now. Okay. So Java tasks column has been added here as well, and group by Java tasks and column settings, rename. You can just keep on putting something else. And the thing is that term store can be added somewhere else in some other site content pages as well, and then that same metadata term store can be added there. It could be added to some documents that are being uploaded, and then it will fill up this column here as well. So that becomes a much longer tasks here. But that's just one example of, you can put medicines column here or some other column here that says something else, right? According to the nature of the work company does. So we can just go for screenshot number 5, term store. Column created, term store column created. Actually, sorry, it's not term store, it's term set. So term set column created, term set column created. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. Term set column created. Screenshot 5. Term set column created. Okay, so there's a term set column created. If we go to the other side, COMP3121. Well, I'm just going to the other screen. Oh, did I just put that here instead of this term set column created? COMP3121 dash screenshot 5 dash term set column created, and then put a screenshot there. And let's go ahead. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to get back to SharePoint. I'm gonna close this communication side. We don't need that anymore. I'll close it, and I'll close that too. But do explore more possibilities of that as well. Okay, so there is a separate okay, so there's a request for break, and it's not in the forum. So yeah, how long the break should be then? The person was asking. Obviously you're entitled to a break, so obviously if somebody requests, we have to give a break at 8 p.m. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have 8 p.m. break till what time? Let me know that too. So I'll just so we can go ahead now and get to so content services here, and content type term store is there, and then under the term store is content type gallery. Use the content type. Okay, so it's content type gallery. Use the content type gallery to create and publish templates for associating metadata with content. So again, this is just site content announcement, parent item, category, list content types. So you've seen all this before, in different parts of SharePoint there. So okay, so Keith says 10-minute break, and well, Kingsley, you can tell me as well. Okay, anyway, we were talking about this East Asia content, event, folder, form, holiday, issue, item. So these are all the actual button types or column types there, and options that were there in different areas of different sections of SharePoint, right? So they were on different sections of SharePoint, right? And so these are already created. We don't need to really change that or mess with it. What we can just check out are the options, which we don't really have to create anything because these are the sections already there. But there's a create content type written here on the top, and there's a plus sign beside it as well. So if we click that create content type, so it just asks for the name, but it also then asks for exactly for which section of the SharePoint are you creating this. Is it a column? Is it a button? And so content type, and then it's an item, it's a message, it's a post, it's a reservation, schedule, it's a task. What is it? So overall, you have to relate that item to something, right? That could make or break as well, unless you know exactly where do you want to put that, what is missing, where is it missing, anything. So if we just go for your first name, content type, content dash type, just to put, create something. Your first name dash content type. Okay, so then I just copy pasted it in the description as well. And if you go down to the category, choose the content type that you want to paste this content type on. So it's list content types, it's group work content types, it's folder content, document. Suppose we go for document content types. It just starts then showing up on this area here, and document content type would be what exactly is the content that would be there. So okay, so there's a picture has been posted. And what does it show? Unexpected. Oh, there are so many unexpected errors. Why can't there be expected errors? Guys, anyone else having this? Or okay, Hamid says refresh it. Yusuf also says getting this error. So you can just refresh it, and does it help? Kingsley. Yeah, that works. Okay, cool. So you also got it, Yusuf, and you refreshed it and it worked for you. Okay, so Kingsley, refresh it and then oh, okay, there's a request for 20-minute break. So, okay. So, okay, here, category, document content types, and content type document. And use an existing category, so custom content type here, and so that's these are the default options that we can go for. Otherwise and this is also similarly use an existing category or create a new category. So yeah, we can just use an existing category for content type. So we can just click a create here. So your first name, content type, and parent is document. Normally this is how it is created. Use a content type gallery to create and publish templates for associating metadata with content. So overall, you can normally we don't need to create further sections unless you're a developer and you want to go for there. Guys, actually we're gonna have a 20-minute break, so that's we can start the break even earlier if you want, but oh, okay. Okay, so if you want, then there are other requests for break as well, so we can have it now, right? So 7:51 up to 8:10 or 8:11. John, yeah, there are others saying 20 minutes, so normally, yeah, it's we have to give a break if somebody asks. In the day before yesterday, so in our cloud class, we didn't have a break at that day. So today I'm being asked to have a break. So okay, guys, it's then 7:52, so 8:12. Let's come back at 8:12. Well, hey, isn't it a break, Jacob? So, this means I would also need a break. But yeah, you can ask a question about AWS in WhatsApp. But yeah, if it's a quick one, ask. Okay, let me just. Oh, I forgot to stop the video. Sorry. Resuming. So we were. So content type gallery. This is just we can create here, and we can just try to go for next features as well. These are just sections of different custom, different sections of the SharePoint. If we go ahead, there should be an example of that too. Online and create or customize a content type, and then there's a publish content type. So these are some of the things, and it is content types help make it easy to provide consistency across a site. You create or customize a content type with the characteristics that you want, such as a certain template, specific metadata, and so on. For example, when a user chooses an item from the new item or new document menu, you can ensure that customized content is used. So suppose there's a new document option is clicked, and there are some options here. So new document button is clicked and there are some options, right? So there is that image upload or document set, that is, so you're just actually customizing the look of not look, but the availability of some more options. You're just customizing that. So this is how it would look like, that you're adding it to certain other sections of SharePoint, that when you click any of the buttons, instead of suppose there were 5 options, there would be 6th one that you add there. So that's just one simple example. This is the page that we configured before the break, and then, well, this is the page that you can follow to really test it out as well. And I'll just give that URL back there. So content type more info. And I'll just go back here. SharePoint. So we went with the policies, then settings, and then content services. Then there is migration as well. And let's click the migration here. So there is migration manager and other migration solutions here, and it also mentions here the 4 file shares. Use migration manager to copy your on-premises file shares to Microsoft 365. So this is just first of all, it's saying for file shares, if you want to have suppose you have a file server and you're having a file shared folder there in the file server, and the data from that shared folder needs to be copied up here in SharePoint, so you can do that. There's another option there, other migration solutions for SharePoint Server 2010, 2013, and 2016. Use the SharePoint migration tool to copy content from SharePoint Server, if you have any on-premises installed, to Microsoft 365. And then the third option is for cloud environments, use Mover to copy content from other cloud services to Microsoft 365. So this is from cloud to cloud copying if needed there. So if we go way up to the first one here, so for file shares, and there's a get started, right? So I'm going to click that, or let's click that get started. In fact, you may have clicked it, but I'm just going back quickly to this migration manager here, and there's a learn what's new. I'm going to click that, learn what's new, right? And what's new in migration manager, and well, coming soon, they're saying auto site provisioning, summary report enhancement, CSV optional header, agent targeting, current features and improvements through February. So that's just what's coming. But when you want to get started, migration manager currently supports only the migration of file shares. This release does not support the migration of content from SharePoint server. So get the scale and security you need to meet today's business challenges and tomorrow's through cloud migration. So migrating content to the cloud is a time and resource intensive process. Migration Manager answers those challenges by providing you a centralized way of connecting servers, creating tasks, and automatically load balancing your migration tasks. So this is the Migration Manager related information. So I'll just put it here, Migration Manager, and the URL as well. Okay, so I'll go back there where we were, and I'm going to click that get started now. So I'm going to click get started, and it just takes us to this migrate your files to Microsoft 365. So what it's expecting is a shared folder, and once we provide the shared folder, it can simply copy those files here. So the Migration Manager helps you manage enterprise scale migrations of network file shares. So it's all about file shares on file servers or any file shares. To get started, install the setup file on each Windows computer or virtual machine you want to use as a migration agent. Then you will be ready to create your tasks and start your migration. So that is shared folder now. What I can do is I can just show you, and you don't have to really create a shared folder in your machine. Anyone who wants to do that is welcome, but I'll just show you this as a demo. You don't all have to so from your side you don't need to do this. I'm showing you as a demo, and I will ask you to take a screenshot of my screen where I ask you, but I'll show you, while anyone who knows what what is needed can follow on your own, but I'm not requiring you to do this. So download agent setup file. So what's the plan here? Plan is that this is my Windows 10 here, Windows 10 laptop, right? So here I'm going to create a shared folder, and I'll then try to put some files there, and I'll then try to upload that through this migration manager. So first of all, I need to click this download agent setup file. You know what, instead of doing it here, I do have my virtual machine ready as well. You don't have it, so obviously that's why I'm just saying that, see what I'm doing. But it's pretty simple. You know, if you have a shared folder and you have a content there, then you just need to give the shared folder path, and you need to have an agent obviously installed first to do this. If I go to 2019 server, yeah, I have one here, and all I need is internet connection, that's all. I'll start this. Okay, so once it is started, I'll just log in and simply make sure that it's connected to internet, and I'll create a quick shared folder. I need to copy that you know, that tool as well. Wow, it's taking forever. That's 2016 here as well. If I just go ahead and check it out, really. Yeah, it has enough RAM, and it is connected to that as well. Okay, so it's so suppose it's a file server in your company, and you have a number of shared folders there. So I'll just click Control Alt Delete, and small image shoot 123 enter, log in. So I need to first check if I have internet connection. Second thing I need to check is that agent for migration manager in SharePoint Online, is that agent downloaded here or not? So I just need that link. Okay, so download agent setup file. I was going to download it in my laptop, so from there I can also copy it there. So just it's a client setup.exe file, so I'm going to save it. Oh, I have it already. Okay, I'll still, you know, download it. So client setup.exe, and show in folder, it's in downloads folder of my laptop, but I need to copy it from my laptop to the virtual machine here that I started, and I'll simply paste it here. Really? So it's still starting, and it's in shock or something. I'll just copy it again. Downloads, right click. Okay. Re-Connect, I already have configured all that. Client setup, copy, tab, paste, really. Okay, so I'll just make another quick attempt here. And there's another option called shared folder that lets me share oh yeah, you would know. So it would just let me share a laptop, physical computer folder inside virtual machine. Okay, there it is. Downloads folder. This is the laptop downloads folder. And this is the client setup that I was looking for. Copy, downloads, paste. Okay, so this file that I downloaded from SharePoint Migration Manager is inside my Windows Server 2019. Before I run it, I will just have to create a folder here and share it. So I'm inside my Windows Server 2019. Suppose this is a file server in your company, and I'm going to go to the C drive, and here I'll go for new and folder, and company shared folder. I'll just put that name here. Then I'm going to right click and enable the share properties, sharing, share, and share with everyone. Wow, it's all white, so where is it? Where are the borders of this? Okay. Add, and yeah, read and write, come on. Okay, so I've shared this folder, so this is a name. I'll double click this here, so the path should be open, and all done. And close this. Then I need to have some data here inside, so I could create a text document, company files, I'll name it, and then I'll select it, then I'll control C it, and then I'll select and click somewhere else, and control V. So I'll just go ahead and create a lot of data here. Wow, I did too much, I guess. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So some data has been created here, and there's a shared folder on this file server. Suppose this is a file server. So I'll just go to that downloads folder here, where I have the client setup file that I downloaded from Sharepoint Online. So I'm just going to double click this client setup file here, and so it starts a wizard to the migration manager of the Sharepoint Online. Just starts a wizard here, and I'm going to click next, and it says content within this. Yeah, I'll click add, and add this site that please let us connect. And okay, well actually, you know what, it's coming because there's IE enhanced security, Internet Explorer enhanced security is enabled. So I'm just going to go to server manager and disable the internet enhanced security, so it should not give me annoying pop-ups now. I'll go inside, go to local server. There's IE enhanced security here, it is on. I'll turn it off. That's in server manager. I'll minimize this, and okay, so something went right. We can't sign you in. JavaScript is required. Okay, I'll just close this and open it again. I'll start this running it again. Wow, Internet Explorer. So it starts again, and this, yeah, I was gonna say this time it doesn't. Next, and sign in. Okay, now it's asking for sign in, so I need to sign in from that admin account with which I signed in from the class. And don't tell me I have to write the whole thing. Don't punish me like this. Copy, please. Control V. Really, I hate this. Okay, it's supposed to just copy paste, but it decided not to. So I'll just type this: admin at GB Amir 14 Jan 2021 on Microsoft.com. Alright, so tapped it, and I have internet access. Yep. Next. Alright, so the password, the class password, and then I log in, and yeah, so it's also asking the local administrator privileged accounts credentials, right? So this is the administrator account that I'm logged in from. So it's if I hover the mouse over here, it's administrator, and if I go here to server manager, this is the domain name, netbus.local. So the domain name /administrator, which has the highest privileges here, and the password, the class password I'm putting there. So migration agent requires Windows account that has read access to all the file shares that contain the content that you want to migrate. We do not store blah 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 blah. So the thing is that there you go. It's asking that test agent access, migration agent setup is complete. Confirm that the Windows account associated with the agent has read permissions to file share you want to migrate. It's just simply asking that, hey, do you have the file share? Yes, we have, and I create that file share. This is the UNC path that I need to grab. This is UNC // VM01 is the name of this virtual machine, and the shared folder that I created with all the data inside. So what I'm expecting is that this data should be copied up there in SharePoint with the help of this migration manager, right? So I'm just going to copy this and paste. Okay, and it needs to test it that if we have read access to this shared folder. So you have access to this file share. Okay, good. So now we can just migration manager agent setup. So screenshot number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to be 6. Okay. So screenshot number 6 is, you can take a screenshot of my screen now. That is migration manager agent setup. That's the name of the screenshot number 6. Migration manager agent setup. Migration manager agent setup. So I'll take a screenshot of this. You can also take my screenshot. So migration manager's agent setup. Migration manager agent setup. Screenshot 6 migration agent setup. COMP3121 screenshot 6 migration. Okay, so migration manager agent setup. So if I so it's tested, and it's finished as well, and I'm gonna click close here. Confirm that the Windows account associated with the agent has read permission. Yeah, we did that. So close. So once we close, now the agent has received all the information, and I'm going to go back to the SharePoint up in the cloud, and so here you can see, okay, so it's not clear, I guess, where it is. So the agent is here, netplus.local VM01, exactly the correct domain name it detected, correct machine name it detected, and it says enabled, right? So that's the agent that was detected up here in the, so we're actually connected with local or on-premises file servers shared folder, and that shared folder is detected here. Now this is showing here, and I'm going to click tasks. So under the agents, if they communicate, then it's good. Then I will go to the tasks because I still need to migrate those files up here. So if I go to add task here, and now it says there that single source and destination, or is it bulk migration from multiple sources and multiple destinations? So no, it's a single source and single destination. So I'm going to keep it selected and next. Then it says that, okay, what's your source? Enter the file share that contains the content you want to migrate. So control V again is so here, yeah. So this is not a very long punishing name. And yeah, I will write this down as well. So // VM01 / company-share-folder. So // VM01 / company-share-folder. And I'm going to click next. And seriously, that's SharePoint, but it's supposed to, oh yeah, that's the destination. I was thinking that this is the source. So source is already placed here because through agent we have connectivity now. But here in destination, where do I put that? So in OneDrive, should I put that? Well, it would be the easiest thing would be to put it on the OneDrive. If you want to go for SharePoint, so I'm saying that, okay, put all the files in the SharePoint, and it might still ask that where, which site documents. If I click next, so it's asking enter the SharePoint site where you want to migrate your content. The best would be the OneDrive because it's a pretty straightforward one. Because your accounts all have 1 terabyte as well. But if SharePoint site is going to be communication site, obviously, and in the documents folder, it's going to then upload all the files. I'm just going to go back here and go for OneDrive, and then it's still asking for OneDrive URL or an email address. Email address, okay. So email address is this guy's email address here. Oh. Alt tab, and yeah, when I click that, so the task actually, where is it? The task is gone, so I'll just open that task again. Really? Okay, next, and method /VM01 company-share-folder. Next, OneDrive, next, and on Microsoft.com. Yeah. Oh. So it says here, or an email address. So that does not qualify for an email address. So I'll just go for or grab a OneDrive URL. So right click here and go duplicate, and then go for OneDrive Admin Center on SharePoint. And it's not the admin center I should go, I should just go to my OneDrive, which is for my account here, which comes here when I go to the 9 dots here. And so yeah, this is there. And I'll create a folder. I'll create a new folder here, company files in cloud 3 and 8. Okay, it's created, and the link, copy link, this is a link, right? Copy, can view. Remember that across the organization we put can view, but actually I wanted editing enabled now. So apply, can edit, because I need to paste files here. It's gonna write the files here, so edit rights needs to be there. So I'll go back here if the task is still open. Yes, it is open. Okay, while I was trying to grab that shared folder, so it just says shows the rest of the options here as well. So it was just a matter of time. So it says that select the location you want to copy your files. So that's good that I created a folder in my OneDrive for this account. So when I click here, it says where are your files? Where do you want to put the files? Create folder. Okay, it's asking me to create a folder here as well. Maybe it did not detect that there. I'll create here as well. There will be a second folder then. Company files cloud create. So what I'm saying is copy all the files from on-premises file server shared folder to this OneDrive here. And next, and task name is copy files from on-prem FS to OneDrive. Perform scan only, preserve file shares, and then there are all settings. Migrate hidden files, migrate files created after this time if you want to schedule this. Migrate files modified after this time. Migrate files modified, created, modified, right? Do not migrate files with these extensions. There's also options there. Replace invalid file name characters with, and migrate OneNote folder as OneNote notebook. And look up Active Directory if this user actually exists, the user whose name I gave. Automatically rerun failed task up to 4 times. So that's a good idea here at the bottom, that if the task somehow fails, just run it again and again and again and again. So this is run now. So this would be our screenshot number 7 on my screen. You can take a screenshot of my screen now. Screenshot number 7, and that's what. So that is about to run cloud or about to run Migration Manager. So I'm about to click run now. So well, these are all the settings that I wanted to show. About to run Migration Manager, screenshot number 7. About to run Migration Manager, screenshot 7. So take a screenshot of my screen. About to run Migration Manager, screenshot 7. About to run Migration Manager. About to run Migration Manager. So that's screenshot 7. It does go back. Oh, since it's my screen, so yeah. So take a screenshot of this. All right. Welcome. Okay. So I'm going to click run now. We have seen all these options down here as well, and I'm going to click run now, and it's queued. The status is the job is queued. Now the data is not that much, so it's just text files, and they're in fact empty text files. So it's I think I have to refresh after a while. There's no local refresh here. Oh, I'm gonna click on top of this task, and yeah, there's a status here. Oh, it's doesn't like what I did. Okay. Settings. That's not fair. I'm gonna check on my machine if there's a firewall started. Oh, there's a firewall, but turn off. Okay, and then go for private network, turn off, and public network, turn off. And do we really have some reasonable internet here? Still IE. Yep, so we have internet connection. Okay, so I'll close this and refresh this whole page. And there's no error as well. So one day, Monday or Sunday. Select. I think it's still queued. It's not running, or so it's still queued. Well, okay. So the whole procedure is this, but yeah, whether it works or not, that's another thing. And maybe some problem with my machine or problem with my internet. Or right, if the error comes, then we could know that, or it's just a matter of time. Could be anything. Until the error comes, it's just a matter of time. Okay, so this much we saw for the migration manager. And if I click migration here, so these right now it says before it was saying here get started. Now it just says view tasks, and if I click the agent, actually, yeah, it says in use. Okay, state is in use, and I click further, in use, that's it. So all indicators are showing that. I think it's gonna work. Oh, 0% completed. So it's not no longer queued. So it is progressing now. Before it was saying queued there, now it's saying 0% completed. So one day, Monday or Sunday, it's gonna finish, and that's very slow. Okay, so while this is finishing, I'll just go back to the migration. I did it on my computer and it says complete. Okay, so Jericho says that he did it on his computer and it completed. Wow, man. So I think my server is too slow and the internet is really leaving there bit by bit. So, okay, that's very good, Jericho. So you already did that. Cool. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and click that migration again. So that's the migration manager, which you get the idea from the demo I gave, that it's simply a file that requires access to a shared folder, and that's it. It's gonna just and it's going to put an agent there in the machine. It needs to detect your domain. It needs to detect your it needs to detect your machine. Suppose your machine was not joined to a domain, right? It would need to just simply detect a machine on top of which the shared folder is. So for that, you deploy an agent and simply start the process. Okay, so now then there is other migration solutions. And for SharePoint 2010, 2013, 2016, so if you have deployed on premises the SharePoint server 2010, 2013, 2016, then you can use this option. So if I click the download SharePoint migration tool, is it the same as the previous one? I don't think so, but I'm going to click that download SharePoint migration tool. It actually says spmt setup.exe, so it's a different file, and I'm just going to download that file as well. I know that I do not have any SharePoint deployment in my laptop. I'm just going to copy this file and go down to this machine here. What we're going to do is we're going to just see that so again it's okay. I'll go through, it's not pasting, so I'll go through the shared folder feature, and there it is, spmt. The file name is spmt SharePoint migration something. Right click, paste, tool, actually SharePoint migration tool, spmt. So I'm going to start this SharePoint migration tool just to show some options. We do not have an SharePoint solution here deployed in the machine, so it's connecting to internet and downloading the rest of the files for migrating the data from a local on-premises SharePoint to migrate the data to all. And just like the previous tool, it's also asking for the user account. I don't know why it's not copying, so I'll just go down here and just to show the options, that's what. And admin at gb owner 14jan2021.onmicrosoft.com, and then click next. Last password. So if we had local SharePoint deployment, then this tool would be great. So it's SPMT is SharePoint Migration Tool. Migrate your file shares or SharePoint server to Microsoft 365. So it also includes file shares migration. Well, we already used the migration manager for that, right? Go to migration manager, it's saying that, but we already used it. So start your first migration, and this is for the SharePoint server. So I'm just going to click that. And now obviously still it's also giving that file share option, which I have already a file share, but what I don't have is the SharePoint server. So if I click that, it's going to ask for URL location of the content you want to migrate, and that would be the URL of any SharePoint on-premises SharePoint site, right? So it would detect that if there was a on-premises SharePoint. If I go to the file share here, so that is asking for a file share with a drive. So this normally, the way you type this file share, this is not a UNC path, right? This is a mapped folder, right? So if I click a choose folder here, so it's just asking that, hey, don't give me a UNC path or a path of a shared folder, but the folder that you want migrated. So I did create the folder there and shared it, right? And Migration Manager just wanted the UNC path of this, and now I'm giving the local C drive path of the same folder because I can do that, because it allows me to do that. And once I've given the local path to the same folder for which I use for Migration Manager, so migrate selected folder and folder contents, or migrate only folder contents. So that's interesting. So you can take a screenshot number 8 here, the SharePoint migration tool, screenshot number 8 of my screen, SharePoint migration tool, screenshot number 8 of my screen, SharePoint migration tool. So take a screenshot here of my screen, SharePoint migration tool. So it's a screenshot 8, SharePoint migration tool. COMP3121. The SharePoint migration tool. Oh. Screenshot 8. Okay, and start your first migration. So I was already ahead, so I'm just gonna go ahead with that. And this was the page that you're supposed to take a screenshot of. This was the page that you're supposed to take a screenshot of. Hopefully everyone took it. So I'm gonna click that, start your first migration. What's the screenshot called? It's called SharePoint migration tool. Screenshot name is SharePoint migration tool. SharePoint migration tool. Okay, so I'm gonna click start your first migration, and then file share. Oh, it's not there again, so I'm just gonna put that file share again there. And actually it's yeah, it's a local folder, but it accepts this way as well. So it's a local path of the folder in the C drive. Once I put that, so if I get an error, I'll just fix it. But for now, I'll just keep this local path given here, and I'm going to click next. Copy content too. So again, it's asking for the destination. Now, before I put that same, or actually, I'm going to put a separate folder. So I'm just going to click OneDrive. It asks for an email address or a OneDrive URL. So the the address is there, but online, it populated a little later. While it is here, I'm still gonna just check one more time what happened to the previous task. Oh, it's complete, yay! Okay, so if it is complete and I click that and it says 100% complete, download task report, 29 files were copied. Okay, yeah, so that much files I would have created. So I'll just confirm that if it completed. And 12 items were up there, not this one. This was the second folder. This is the one. 12 items here. Okay, that's good. So now I'm actually uploading still the same folder, the same set of amount of files. So Migration Manager works fine, but the SharePoint migration tool, that's the second tool that we're testing, and then we're going to go for, so it's the company files -in-cloud is the name. So I'll go back down to the on-premises and click next. It should ask which exact folder, and yeah, there you go. So it is asking that your content will be copied to this site, documents, and yes, so that's the folder. The second one was not populated, or I could create from on-premises here also a new folder up there in OneDrive, but I'll just select the other empty folder that I have. I'll click that and click next. Now it says that, okay, we're ready, and this is the migration task. Add another migration, so we can simultaneously migrate from, so this is large scale. This tool goes for or supports large scale migration. At one go, you can just give the path of multiple folders, and it will just migrate everything up there, because it is, this particular tool is meant for large scale migration. So I'm going to click next, and then it's asking only perform scanning. No. Preserve file share permissions. Well, yeah, if I had given any permissions that this file can be accessed only by this person and that file can be accessed only by that person, so yes, then I would have enabled that. Migrate file version history, yeah, it's okay. Automatic user mapping, if it was mapped to any user, yes, that's okay. I'm going to still go for view all settings, and yeah, these are the same options that you saw in Migration Manager as well. So migrate files modified after this date or created after this date, all that option is there. So yeah, we're good. So we don't need to select anything here. So I'm going to click the final button for my and great. Okay, migrate. So we're still migrating files from a local folder, but unlike the Migration Manager, this one is working a bit faster. That's a good thing. So that's good speed, or better start for So that's good. Its performance is better than Migration Manager, and it can support much larger migrations. You can also see that the client setup here. So it is meant for small scale or client side migrations, and this is SPMT. So this is a tool for large scale migration. So save the migration before closing. Yeah, okay, save. So start new migration, and yeah, you can just start new migrations as well. So this is good, and we tested the second tool as well, Sharepoint migration tool, and I'll just well, we can take a screenshot number 9 here for migration. So SPMT migration completed. Screenshot number 9 can be SPMT migration succeeded. Again, screenshot number 9 would be SPMT, Sharepoint migration tool. SPMT migration succeeded. So you can take a screenshot of this. SPMT migration succeeded. Screenshot 9, SPMT migration succeeded. SPMT migration succeeded, right? Screenshot 9, SPMT migration succeeded. Okay, so now Khalid has realized that on WhatsApp he uploaded again. When he comes back, I will take a screenshot and then I will ask also the name. So okay, Khalid, so here it is. This is the one that you need to take. Okay, just kidding. So let's go ahead and so this is a screenshot you need to take, and yeah, this is a screenshot you need to take, and then oh yeah, the migration. Then the name of the migration is SPMT migration succeeded, right? Oh, you already done it. Cool. So let's go ahead and so here now the final one would be or we can keep going ahead. Yeah, so this is download Sharepoint migration tool. So for cloud environments, so guys, this is a mover, and if you ever want mover services, you can just grab from here. But this is going to move files from one cloud environment to another. So use mover to copy content from other cloud services to Microsoft 365. Let's click. Okay, so this I'll just quickly go for SharePoint Online Mover. SharePoint Online Migration and Mover. How to migrate into SharePoint Online Mover. So mover.io is the website name. So that it. So first of all, Microsoft is using a third party. I can say third party, or if Microsoft has already purchased it, then Microsoft logo should be here as well. Start migrating to SharePoint Online with Movers Office 365 connector in minutes. No database installations, no server setup. Migrate SharePoint Online and Office 365 from almost anywhere. and nothing to install. Yeah, so the main thing here is that it's straightforward installation uh, from any of the compatible sites to this, and it has shown the documentation for whichever site you want to go for, right? So create account. So yes, it says that first of all you need to create an account in Mover. The greedy details: no installations. You're going to SharePoint Online and Office 365. Microsoft has built the best cloud storage solution out there. Isn't downloading server images. Okay, so that's just other details. Scale migration, scheduling, powerful infrastructure. Why is Mover so fast? Decades of domain expertise and serious optimization. Combine this with our patented swarms infrastructure and Mover's capacity to migrate data to SharePoint Online. And so the main task that they are expert in to move from anywhere, from any third-party cloud storage to SharePoint Online and Office 365, right? This is what they do, and I'm just gonna go back to the SharePoint here, and there's a button here, go to Mover. So once we click, I think it's gonna still take us to that site. So Microsoft plus Mover. Yes, it's still third party. If it was Microsoft, they would have put their logo here as well. So it's partner, obviously, or Mover acquired by Microsoft. Seriously, it's a very big written here, and I'm still saying third party. Okay, so it is acquired by Microsoft. Microsoft has purchased it already, October 21st, 2019. Read more, blah blah blah. So once you click here, then there is cloud file migrations to Office 365. There is secure, powerful, fast. Yeah, these are the marketing, but you get the idea that it's online, right? Migrate your entire company to Office 365 without leaving your browser. So now what can be done here in the class? First of all, there are many connectors. We support practically every major cloud storage provider. That's what Mover is saying. And on-premise server. So even from on-premises, you want to migrate anything. Although we have migration manager there as well, if it comes down to on-premises, but Mover also does that too. It's just not only cloud storage. Easily authenticate with secure OAuth or traditional credentials. So OAuth or open authentication is shared by every mainstream site. They all websites, they all share. Google, Facebook, Twitter, Salesforce.com, they all support this. Migrate from Box, Dropbox, Google, Amazon, Office 365 tenant. So even from one Office 365 to another tenant, also from Office 365 to Office 365, they also support that. So that's the main thing to understand, that they have different connectors. Okay, you know what, this would be a very good task that I could give you. First of all, some information. So that's the basic information, right? Let's go back to let me just get some, they don't have proper documentation, or they have guides here as well. How much does Mover cost? Mover is 100% free service. Are you kidding me? So guys, the main thing is that if you have a G Suite, Google G Suite Drive, Ignite, Box, Dropbox, file servers, Office 5, so Mover itself is free, yes. Destination, you have a trial version, yes. But in order to move from these sites, do you need a subscription to Box, or paid subscription to Dropbox, or paid subscription to Google Cloud Storage, Azure Blob Storage, Amazon S3, or I think the trial accounts would also work. For migrations from SharePoint on-premise, use. So they're also suggesting that use SharePoint migration tool, which we just used, but this is from cloud to cloud. So anyway, we get the idea here, and I'll just put some information here. How can I open a mover support request? No, we're not going for support. Supported destinations here. This, let me just put that information all here first of all. Okay. Okay, so the rest I'll just. So how many connectors it support, which means that which website it support, you should know that. Migrate from Box, Dropbox, Google, Amazon. So you get this list, and second is how much more cost. So it's a mover service. I'll just put that in big. Okay. So if I go back here now, I'm on this page, and there's a login button here, right? So this means that obviously we need to create an account. If I click the login button, so what I'm saying is you don't have to follow this. Those who choose to follow, you're okay. Otherwise, you don't need to. Sign in with your old mover account, or you can sign in with Microsoft account, because Microsoft acquired it. So that's pretty cool. I think in next year or few months you might see a Microsoft logo here. Otherwise it's still mover.io. So Microsoft kept their identity alive till now. So this application is not published by Microsoft or your organization. This app would like to maintain. Yeah. So consent on behalf of your organization. So you're saying that mover can access your Microsoft account, and certain level of permissions you need to give to mover. So I click accept here. So that's a good thing. We don't have to create a separate mover account. We can, and that's how it looks like from inside. And kind of really easy interface, like select source, authorize new connector, and select destination. We know the destination already, which is Microsoft 365. But authorize new connector or select source. Where are you sending this data from? It still shows you Migration Manager option there, but that's the SharePoint Migration Manager. It could be that, or since we're coming to SharePoint, so we can assume that it is, but I need to check that out. So guys, authorize new connector. I'm going to click that. You don't have to, obviously. And then this is how it looks like now. If you have a paid subscription or trial subscription to any of those, then you would click authorize and then put those username, password there for those sites, and whatever data is there. So it needs to know the source, it needs to know the destination. So once you provide the credentials of the source and credentials of the destination, it should simply migrate. And I've used that before and tested that before as well. And just like the other tools were easy to use, this is also very easy to use. All you need to do is give credentials to the site. It's not that straightforward as well, but it's not complicated at all as well. What I can say is just a few steps here and there, and you're done. So they really done an amazing job for migrating data from third-party sites like these to Microsoft. So Microsoft 365. So that's a very, very good tool, and all it needs is a credentials for it, right? So what we can do, I'm just gonna, this also shows a very good. I'm just gonna go back. This is the main screen. So let's take a screenshot number 10 here, and that would be mover interface, mover console. So screenshot number 10 would be mover console. Screenshot number 10, mover console. So screenshot number 10, mover console. Even if you want to try that, I mean, you guys are smart. Even if you just create your own Dropbox account, give that those credentials here, and then credentials of your SharePoint or OneDrive and a folder. Just like the previous two tools, you just need to give a folder path and that's it. So it's a pretty exciting tool, and when the data finally transfers, it's a feeling that you're working cloud to cloud now. So mover console, right? And the screenshot. So that's okay, my screenshot, otherwise it was supposed to be yours. But yeah, just take a screenshot of my screen. If you were on your screen, then that is also okay. Okay, so screenshot 10, mover console. Okay, let me just put it there. COMP3121. Screenshot 10, mover console. Okay. So, okay guys, so that would be it. Go ahead and upload. And it's week 10. So upload and see you next week on week 10.